Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk and Shop. And tonight we got big time Bill Collier and my magnificent assistant, Mr. Lund.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, gentlemen?
How are you, Bill?
Fantastic. Glad you guys are having me.
Good. We appreciate you coming on and talking to us. So, what is new?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just taking some time and relaxing. Getting ready for what's coming up next. Next weekend, I have Josh Alexander at IWC. I think that's going to be one that you're going to want to check out.
Awesome. You said that's at IWC, right?
IWC in Elizabeth, PA.
Awesome.
So, just to start off, man, we always like to start off like we try to do chronological. So, who broke you in?
I guess you could credit to Chris Coleman for that. You know, we were kind of hanging out, and he was training with Cato in Altoona. So I asked him about training, and then I sent Cato an email. And at the time, he didn't have a training building. And I think what we did next was he messaged Bubba Brewer because he did have somewhere to train. And Bubba said, "Yeah, well, come on out." And through Bubba's own words, he said, "I'm not much of a trainer, but you can come out. And we can get you started." And that's what I did. I broke in with Chris Coleman with Bubba Brewer and APWF. After a few months of that, I switched over to started training with KCW and started training with Cato. And man, like my training really took off at that point.
So, what are your early memories of the Indies? Like, you work with some top name guys pretty earlier in your career.
Early on, I don't really remember much. I guess it's from years of falling on my head. But starting with APWF, they put me in the ring with some guys really early that I don't know if I had business being in the ring with. I had matches. My fourth professional match was a match with Monster Abyss, and then I was in the ring with Blue Meanie a few months after that, and then Shane Douglas. Like those were three guys I was in the ring with within the first 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my size has always played a big part in that. It wasn't so much like, "Hey, this guy's really good." Like, no, this guy's a big guy. I mean, he looks good standing there.
So, did you learn anything off of those gentlemen? I mean, those are some three big names.
I did, but not what you think. At the time, I was just trying to listen and listen to what they told me, trying not to screw up. Okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. It wasn't so much what am I learning. It was, okay, just be there for them where they need me. But one thing I did learn, I had short hair then. You may remember. Abyss was putting handfuls of conditioner in his hair. And I kind of looked at him funny, and he goes, "If you ever grow your hair long, conditioner in the hair keeps it wet." He said, "Some guys get under the ring lights, man, and oil dries their hair out, or water dries their hair out." He's like, "Conditioner keeps your hair wet the whole time." Fast forward, 10 years later, long hair, conditioner keeps my hair wet.
Wow, big time giving us behind the scenes, some inside baseball. All right.
So, what made you grow your hair out?
I don't know if I want to say. No, I had a tryout at FCW in like 2011 or 12. And one of the things they wanted to see was they wanted to see me when I came back. They wanted to see me with long hair.
Awesome.
So that was the suggestion. "Hey, kid, grow your hair." I got 8 or 10 other guys that look like you from the back. Grow your hair, do something different. So growing my hair, doing something different with my gear, always trying to change and do something. That's something everyone should be doing. But they wanted to see me look a little different.
Awesome. So for me, obviously you're a Johnstown boy.
Yes, sir.
Why haven't this is going to be off the subject a little bit, but why haven't we ever had a big wrestling event at the Point Stadium? Why do you think?
Do you want like a politically correct answer, or do you want what I think it is?
You give us whatever you want.
Wait, just shoot from the hip, brother.
All right.
Absolutely.
First of all, I don't think that Johnstown is that big of a wrestling town. Anytime that WWE even has ever been in town with like big match cards, they had a lot of trouble putting fans in the building. I can remember going to WWE Live is what they call it now. Back in '95, the main event was The Undertaker versus Bret Hart in 1995 for the title, and the building was damn near empty. Like that, they main evented the paper. They main evented the Royal Rumble a few months later.
I remember that. I was at that show. Yeah.
It was bare. But recently, I think that one of the reasons why wrestling isn't so big in Johnstown now is because you have a group of untrained guys trying to run legit wrestling shows, and it looks like garbage. It looks like absolute garbage. So people get a look at this and they say, "Wow, this is what pro wrestling is, huh?" And it turns them off. It more or less it sours the ground, is what it does.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, it does. When you have guys that are untrained and guys that don't know what they're doing, and they're just fumbling around the ring, people get a look at that, and their perception is that's what independent wrestling is. And professional wrestling doesn't have the best reputation. It kind of has a reputation for people that don't understand it or aren't too close to it for being hokey and silly. And then you finally go to it and you watch something like this, and these guys are not trained. They don't know what they're doing, regardless of what they may, portray to you. And it looks terrible. It's a black eye on the business is what it is. And I think a big part of that is the reason why Johnstown has a real trouble getting behind, a professional wrestling company.
Right. Yeah, I just feel that, something big could have happened there at the Point Stadium all these years, even if it was after a baseball game or anything like that,
Yeah, you can tack a wrestling show on after something like that. Who knows who's going to stick around? But to run like an actual legitimate wrestling show, like right now, Imagine Wrestling is running in Altoona. And again, because this same group of people were in Altoona, spoiling the ground there, getting moving was tough. And the first Imagine Wrestling event had Bob Backlund on it. And there was a series for the Imagine Cup. There were going to be 5 matches. And it was Team Pittsburgh versus Team, Imagine in Altoona. I was on Team Imagine in Altoona. And with Bob Backlund there, we get to the last 2 matches, and it's me and Gannon Jones, and then the last match is Jimmy the Hippie and Duke Davis. Me and Gannon Jones, like the crowd's rumbling, and they're with us all night. Me and Gannon Jones brought them to like a fever pitch. Like they're hot. That match ends. Duke Davis comes in and jumps me. Jimmy comes out and makes the save. They go directly into their match and almost immediately into a cutoff. By the time Jimmy the Hippie is ready to hit this comeback, the whole building is like shaking and rumbling. That's how loud they were being. He gets through this comeback and people are on their feet to the point where Bob Backlund left the merchandise table where he was set up, and guys at his level don't do this. Left the merchandise table where he was set up to come to ringside and bang on the apron with the hometown guys and high-five the audience and get everybody going. They hit this finish. The building went absolutely – it exploded. It takes something like that to let them know, well, no, there's a difference between guys that know what they're doing and guys that are just playing wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, Bob Backlund left come over and like hype up the audience with the baby faces. That's how hot, Jimmy the Hippie and Duke Davis had the audience.
So obviously, you're Imagine Wrestling's heavyweight champion now, right?
Absolutely. I won the title from Spencer Slade late last year, who, by the way, is remember Spencer Slade because he's something special, man. He's going to be something special.
Yeah, we keep hearing that name. Last interview we had Bad Bubba Brewer on, and he mentioned your match with him. It was an awesome match, he said.
But yeah. Spencer Slade is, for his experience level, is really good. He gets it. He understands where he should be. Now, Spencer Slade, he wears the headgear because he's hearing impaired, so he wears earpieces, and they legitimately protect. Like the headgear legitimately protects his ears. Um, for somebody who can't really hear the audience well, and that's kind of a lot of what we do is listening to the audience. He reads the situation in the ring like he's been doing this for 10 years.
Wow.
Man,
I just thought that was part of his gimmick.
No, he's
with the headgear.
Yeah, no, legitimately hearing impaired, so they protect his hearing devices.
Wow.
Yeah, protect his ears, protect his hearing devices. It's like I said, and for somebody who can't really hear the audience well, he moves around in his timing and placement and his pacing. You couldn't tell. Like I said, it's like he's been doing this for 10 years or so.
That's crazy. Now, how old is he? Is he a younger guy?
Yeah, if I had to take a guess, 23, 24, 25 maybe.
Wow. That's awesome. So,
He's
Imagine's coming back, right?
Yes, May 15th. They just made the announcement on the Imagine Live. You can check them out on Imagine Live every week. It's Wednesday at 7 p.m. on YouTube. They do a weekly broadcast on YouTube Live for free. They just announced it this past week, where May 15th, I believe, is the return for Imagine Wrestling with a live audience.
And where's that going to be at, in Altoona?
Yes, Altoona, Juniata Civic Center. May 15th.
Awesome. That's awesome. So, who else do you work for? And I believe you are champion at IWC, the Super Indy champion.
I'm the Super Indy champion. I just won the Super Indy title last month from Brian Pillman Jr., who, by the way, was an absolute pleasure to share a room.
That's awesome. And so, is there anywhere else that you work currently right now?
Right now, with restrictions, it's tough. There's not a lot of places running, and if they do, they're doing like closed tapings. They're like studio style events. You know what I mean? Kind of like what Imagine Live does, where there's no audience. It's just a camera and the guys having matches. So right now, Imagine IWC has been about it. Which is fine because getting older, it keeps me from punching my bump card too much.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, Bill, tell us a little bit. I know you had some experience in WWE. Just give us a little bit behind the curtain on that.
Oh wow! I've been booked as an extra a few times, and when you get that call to go as an extra, it's not what you think it is. It's you show up and mouth shut and ears open. That's it. Um, if there was ever a moment that made you think, wow, like I'm really far down on the totem pole, it's being up at that level. Uh, it's such a, when they call it the wrestling business, you get a real feel for it when you're there. Like this is a business and they run it as a business and a professional business at that. Um, everybody back there has a job. Everybody back there is doing their job. There's nobody back there. It's not what you think, man. It's a real tight ship. It really is. But the experience was great. It was fantastic experience. Every time I've been up, again, great experience, great learning experience. The boys are usually real open. They'll talk to you about whatever. They don't. They don't isolate themselves from the extras. They don't make them seem like they're beneath them. You can talk to anyone. It's fine. But again, while you're up there, be careful. It's mouth shut, ears open.
All right. So my favorite question is, who's the biggest sweetheart and who's the biggest shithead?
Up at that level, it's let's see, Bray Wyatt. I'm not sure who the biggest shithead is, but it's hard to say because you really don't know them. But some of the people that were real cool to us, Bray Wyatt was one of them. And Bray Wyatt was, hey, how's it going, guys? He had time for you to sit down and talk to you. He had time to hang out with you. He had time to listen. And there's conversation back and forth. It isn't just like yeah, and he shrugs you off and he keeps going. It's he was one of the ones that was real cool to talk to. Another one that was all right to us with Kane. Kane was a good guy. We were in Pittsburgh and we were kind of like in a mop closet, is what it felt like. And he kind of peeks his head around the corner. He says, "Is this where they have you guys?" There's like 8 of us in there, nuts to butts. And he goes, "Yeah, man, this is where they have you guys, huh?" And we're like, "Yeah." He goes, "There's a locker room over here that no one's using." He takes the sign outside that says extra talent, pulls it off the wall, puts it on the wall in the smaller locker room next to the boys and said, "If anyone asks, why you're here, tell them to come get me." No one came to ask. Yeah, that's where we were at, man.
That's pretty cool.
I'll tell you, here goes another. While me and Brittany Force did a loop for WWE. It was like a 4 or 5 day loop, which started with Madison Square Garden, which was cool. So I got to clear the curtain at Madison Square Garden. So that was a real cool thing. But the next
excuse
day,
my dog there.
no, that's fine, man. But the next day we're in Wildwood, New Jersey, right on the beach, the Civic Center there, and we park in the back next to the in the talent parking lot. Well, we get there extra early because it's on the beach. You know what I mean? Oh, let's hang out on the beach for a while. You go out and you can see like some of the boys are out on the beach already, and some of the ladies as well. We're out on the beach. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Well, now it's time to go back in the building. And to go back in the building, it's professional dress. So I'm putting my suit on. I'm getting changed. Well, I swing my car door open, and I use this giant bust that's there as a shield. And I'm like, oh, man, this is kick-ass. No one's going to see anything here. So I have the door open. I'm using the bust as a shield. And I'm out there like, for all intentional purposes, man, I'm butt naked here. Like, getting changed in front of this bus. Well, we go inside, and it seemed like the roster was a little different than the night before. I didn't know what the card was for the night. It was a little different than it was for Madison Square Garden. Well, the main event ended up being Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton versus John Cena and Chris Jericho. Well, I hadn't seen John Cena all day. Well, all of a sudden, Cena shows up, and I just thought, brother got here a little late. Brother, he was running a little late. Well, they do the match. John Cena was the double champ at the time, and he had both belts. They do the match. The finish happens. He walks through the back locker room. Now, this is a small building. He goes down the loading ramp and directly onto the bus that I used. So he was there the whole time, and chances are, man, he's seen everything.
That's great.
Not for me, it wasn't. He's probably on the bus. And, look at this guy, man. Get him out of here.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So, all right. So, who is someone that you haven't worked with yet that you want to work with?
This upcoming Saturday, Josh Alexander. He's been on that list for quite a while. That's a match that, especially up here in the north, where up in the Canada area, because he's from Canada, up in Canada, and upstate New York, and that's a match everybody's been talking about, really wanting to see. I'm not sure why no one's really pulled the trigger on it yet, but he's looping through, and IWC picked it up, and they got Josh Alexander, so they're not going to burn it. They're going to do this while they can. So me and Josh Alexander, he's on that list. There's a guy that wrestles in MCW in Maryland, Rawlins. He's on that list as well. I see his work and I'm like, damn, like I know I could do great business with him. Like he's so intense. Um, Sean Carr, also from the New York area, is another guy that I'd really like to do business with. Off the top of my head, those are three guys right away that I can think of.
Awesome.
So, in closing, we got to ask this question: are you WWE or are you AEW?
Make sure you don't make JJ happy tonight.
um, I've been pro WWE since I was a kid, obviously, but from the days of the Hulkster. I don't watch a lot of wrestling these days, unless it's really terrible. But lately, I've been trying to, since AEW is a new, I kind of know what's going on at WWE, and with the network, I can keep up. I can kind of scroll through, see what's happening, keep up, check out a match or two. With AEW, I have to check them out while they're on TV. So I have to finish my workouts. But I'm in my home gym, by the way. So I have to finish my workout because I built a home gym during quarantine because I needed to. So I finish up. Yeah, I finish up and I head downstairs and I try to catch some of AEW. I gotta say, I don't hate it. I don't hate the product. I don't hate what I see. The thing is, between AEW and WWE, it looks a lot different than I can remember watching it growing up. Like now, it looks between both companies. It looks very with the camera angles and the way they shoot things. It looks very overproduced. Is what it looks like. It's like everything looks like it's. As far as like I said, the way it's shot, it looks like it was directed.
Right.
So as far as like pro one or the other, I don't have too much of a I don't have too much of a gauge on AEW yet. I haven't seen too much of their stuff. Like I check in on it from time to time, but it's hard to say like is one better than the other. Now for wrestling content, man, like for as far as pure like in ring content, NXT is doing a phenomenal job. As far if you're looking for great matches, like those are some of the matches that you're gonna want to watch. Like NXT, they have really solid matches.
Absolutely. So I got one last question for you, Bill.
Okay,
So we're getting this question asked a lot in our group. Bad Bubba Brewer for one. Troy is another one. They say you are the best indie talent right now, and they want to know why you are not signed to the big companies.
we have this discussion quite often. I'm not sure what it is, or I'm not going to say I'm the best unsigned talent. Like that's irresponsible because there's a lot of
you're being humble because you are, brother.
There's a lot. I mean, I appreciate that. Thank you. There's a lot of good guys out there, but it's hard to say, man. Like, especially with I haven't gotten a look at AEW yet. For what that's worth.
You should absolutely be in Wardlow's spot.
Yes.
The thing is, Wardlow's about 6, 7, 8 years younger than I am, so I understand to a degree. But we can't figure it out, man. And we think, like, I know at least the WWE level, it's not so much your in-ring talent or anything like that. It's okay. Do we have something we can do with this guy? Is there a spot here? I honestly, and this is my opinion, I think they have spots picked out, and they're looking for the right guy to fill them. And I just don't know if I haven't been through it during the right cycle or what happened. I don't know. I mean, their guess is as good as mine and as good as yours, I suppose.
Maybe they have a spot for the Insaniac.
The Insaniac, he got hired. That's for sure.
All right, man. What I just want to say thank you. A little peek behind the curtain. We've been
Oh,
friends
yeah, absolutely, man.
we've been friends for a couple of decades now. I love you, brother.
Absolutely. I love you guys. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate this. The pleasure's been all mine, man. And like I said, if you guys want to do this again, we can, because I have stories like the tour bus. I have stories like that for days, man.
We're definitely gonna have you back on, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
All right.
it.
All right, Bill. Thank you again, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
See ya. Good deal, brother. Appreciate it.